In this video, we are going to be going over the practice EOC problems 26 through 31. 26 through 30. Okay, for the first problem, it says boiling point of water is measured in degrees, represented by the letter T, at an altitude A, measured in feet, is modeled by this function. So that's representing the degrees, and this is the altitude in feet. In terms of altitude and temperature, which statement describes the meaning of the slope? Okay. First off, you need to know this is my slope, and if you also notice it has a negative. So I know that means it is decreasing. Okay. So the boiling point increases and increases. Those are out. But those are positive slopes. Now I need to decide: is it decreasing by 18 degrees every 1,000 feet, which is what C says, or is it going down 1.8 every 1,000 feet? Well, right now it's negative 0.0018. And that is per 1 foot. Well, I noticed that my other ones are at what? 1,000. So that means I need to multiply the top and the bottom by 1,000. When you do that, that means I move the decimal three places. I'm going to get 1.8 over 1,000, which is G. All right, for 27, it says, let me go ahead and get a grid. All right, it says a line segment has endpoints at 2468. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and graph those two. I'll make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so I need to go over 2 and up 4. That's J. And over 6 and up 8. That is point K. All right. Oh, sorry, L, I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, the point K is the midpoint of JL. Okay, so the midpoint. So to find the midpoint, I have to take the x plus x and divide it by 2, y plus y divided by 2. That is my ordered pair. So that means I have 2 plus 6 divided by 2, comma 4 plus 8 divided by 2. Well, when I simplify that, that's 8 over 2, which is 4, and 4 plus 8 is 12 divided by 2, which is 6. So I know that this is point K, this is my midpoint. So if I go over 4 and up 6, I have my midpoint K. The next thing it says is that which one of these is an equation that's perpendicular to JL but goes through point K. Okay, perpendicular means that it has to be formed 4 right angles. Okay? Perpendicular slopes are opposite. So for example, if you have 3/4, the perpendicular slope to that is 4/3. You flip the fraction and flip the sign. Flip the fraction, flip the sign. So now that I know that as a review, what's the slope of JL? Well, it's up 1 over 1. Okay? So JL has a slope of positive 1. Well, to flip that, you're going to have 1 over 1, which is 1, but I only need to flip the sign. So the line that's perpendicular to it needs to have a slope of negative 1. Okay, that would be perpendicular slope, and that's the symbol for perpendicular. So when I look at my answer choices, these both have positive slopes thereafter. Now I need to decide, does it start at negative 10 or positive 10? Okay, well, if it's perpendicular, you can follow the line up. Where's it going to cross? Definitely not down here, not negative 10. The B's out, it has to be A. If you wanted to solve for it, it would be more time consuming, but if you wanted to solve for the equation, you could do that. I'm going to work that out really quick. If you didn't have to do this, I'm plugging in negative 1 for my slope. I'm going to use a coordinate point of K, because I know that's the point where it's going to go through. This is my X, this is my Y. So 6 equals negative 1 times 4 plus B. 6 equals negative 4 plus B, plus 4 plus 4, B equals 6. So for this wanted to be double sure that it was positive 10 as a y-intercept. That's what you could do. All right, for question 28. Again, I'm going to need, well, you don't have to graph it if you don't want to, but I'm going to graph it because some people might want to see what it looks like. When I did it on my paper, I didn't graph it. The reason why is because it told me that it's a triangle, and they want me to find the what? Perimeter. Well, to me, I already know that means I need to do the distance formula 3 times, so I'm going to have 3 sides. What is the distance formula? Okay, well, it's x minus x squared plus y minus y squared. Okay, I already know that. Or you can figure out a way to use Pythagorean theorem, which is also a form of the distance formula. So if you graph it, you've got 1 comma 3, you've got 2, negative 3, and negative 1, negative 1. So here's my triangle, and they want me to find the perimeter. Again, the best way I do this is I really didn't graph it the first time. I just did the distance formula 3 times. I think 2 points to start. And then I said, okay, 1 comma 3. The next 2 I chose were negative 1, negative 1. The most important thing is that each point gets grouped with the other point at some point. So 3 and so now I'm going to use my distance formula, which is right up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug this stuff in. I did put x1, y1, x2, y2 so that I could keep them straight. And so 2 minus 1 squared plus negative 3 minus 3 squared. That made it 1 squared plus negative 6 squared. And 1 plus 36, which is 37. And if I wanted to put where that was on the graph, this is for 1, 3, and 2, negative 3. So this side length is the square root of 37. All right, the next one I've got 1, 3. I plugged it in. Negative 1, oops. Negative 1 minus 1 squared plus negative 1 minus 3 squared. That is going to give me negative 2 squared plus negative 4 squared, which gives you 4 plus 16, which is the square root of 20. And if I wanted to put that on the graph, again, you don't have to do this part, but if you wanted to, this would be square root of 20. I've got one side left to find. When I plug this in again, x1, y1, x2, y2, I didn't label it, x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so when I plug it in, I'm going to get negative 1 minus 2 squared plus negative 1 minus negative 3. That was special. I've got a double negative, which means it becomes what? Addition. So this side is negative 3 squared, and this side becomes positive 2. Negative to negative makes an addition. So negative 1 plus 3 is positive 2. From there you get 9 plus 4, which is the square root of 13, which is obviously my last side. This problem is not necessarily hard, but extremely time consuming. Now I need to add up all my sides. So square root of 20, square root of 37, plus the square root of 13. And when you do that, you're going to get 14.6, which means my answer is B. Got to know the distance formula. The only other way you could do it is if you use Pythagorean theorem 3 times, but that would be challenging. All right, for 29, it says, the table below shows the area of several states. Delaware has an area of 2,000 square miles. 2,000 square miles. Which is true if Delaware is included in the data set. So it's not in here, but what is it included in? The reason that most people miss this problem is right here. They did not read that this says what? Area in thousands. So, and a lot of people put 2,000 for Delaware, but that's not correct. It's already in thousands. So instead of writing 2,000, they should have put what? 2. So if you add 2 to the data set, That is going to be now the smallest number in the data set. That means that my range is going to increase. Okay? If you wanted to test these all out, you could, but honestly, you shouldn't. You shouldn't need to, because you should figure out, well, dang, if 2 is the smallest number, that's going to stretch the data out. It's going to be further apart. Not to mention, 2 is the smallest number. If these were your quiz grades and all of a sudden you got a 2, that would bring your average what? Down, not increase. So when it says the average is going to increase, that doesn't make any sense. The range is going to decrease. Again, that doesn't make any sense. Also, you could test it if you didn't know. You could subtract your 54 from 6, or sorry, 59, that's the biggest one, 59 from 6, and then subtract 59 from 2 and realize that the range increased. For these two, range decrease. The inner quartile range, you could have found it before if you wanted to, but also, again, if it's a type of range, my range is not going to decrease. It's going to what? Increase. The other thing that you need to remember is that standard deviation is a measure of range. So I know that that means my range is going to increase is D. I answered this based on what I know because of statistics. However, if you weren't familiar with these words, you could use your calculator to calculate the data, the mean, the range, the interquartile, and standard deviation, and then you could add 2 to the data set and calculate them again and compare them. But you really don't have to. Can you? Of course, you can use a calculator to do it, but you didn't need to. All right, for question 30, a college surveyed 3,500 of its students to determine if the students preferred music, movies, or sports. The results of the survey are shown in the relative frequency table below. 1 second. Okay, this problem was not included on your test because this problem was removed this year. You were substituted with a different problem for number 30, and I will go over that in the next video.